Hello, everyone, and welcome to Puzzle Talk Live. I'm your host, Erin O'Brien, and every week here we are tackling the coronavirus shutdown one puzzle at a time. And so I always like to start this with a little disclaimer. I am not a professional. Well, at least I'm not a professional video thing person. And this is an amateur video. It's not going to be very good quality. I do not have a script. I'm kind of a steerage. I'm steerage class. I'm like a steerage class Mick who just comes on here and talks about puzzles. Okay? Coming here to talk about puzzles. And today, what we are having is the After Dark edition. And we're going to we're kind of pushing the boundaries here with puzzles. This is not for the kiddies. This is for 18 and older, please. So be warned. Kind of go into a territory that's a little unusual. So let's just jump right into the puzzles. You know, everyone is often asking me, what the heck am I doing? What is the puzzle I am working on? So I figured I would share that with you first. And the puzzle I am working on today is this great Siaco puzzle. It's a 550 piece puzzle. It's cool. And it has, it's kind of got this like Peter Max thing going on. It's like a Peter Max knockoff featuring Jimi Hendrix. Note on Siacos. These are inexpensive puzzles. Sometimes you will find them I have found them at Mark's for a couple of bucks. They're pretty good puzzles. They have fun images. Great little puzzle. If you ever see a Siaco and you're like, should I buy this puzzle? Should I not buy this puzzle? I say buy the puzzle. Take the puzzle home, do the puzzle. They got a lot of colorful images, a lot of fun. And just because I saw this and it reminded me of Peter Max, I had to share one more puzzle with you that is an actual Peter Max. And this was one of, okay, it's 3 500-piece puzzles in here. And I've had this for probably 20 years. And I bought it at Mark's. Wait, where is it? I bought it at Mark's for $7.99. Okay. Now, people came here to see some adult puzzles. And I'm going to show them to you. And we're going to start out with, as usual, I have my, this is large glass of vodka, a lot of ice cubes, and then it's really candy-ass. Then I put, I think this is actually white peach flavored Dasani is what my mix is today. Woo! Okay, let's get to the puzzles. Gonna start out with a puzzle. The artwork is by Mr. Bob Knox, who is still with us. It is the the July 19th, 1993 cover of New Yorker magazine. And I love this. So what do you have here? You have this great image, and it is a beach where everyone is au natural. And it's just, this was an easy puzzle. It was charming. New York Puzzle Company. If you're looking for great puzzles with great images, I've talked about them before. Another little commercial for them. Love this 1993. The goat and I had been married about a year. Yeah, so that was a lot of years ago. I'm dealing with him and for all, yeah. And anyhow, so here you go. Little nude beach. It's called Sur la Plage, and the artist is Bob Knox. Loved this puzzle. Next up, we're going back to 1944. You're going to be digging on classic artist Salvador Dali, and this is a Clementoni puzzle. Clementoni is in the world of puzzles. This is way high up, very high grade puzzle. I believe this puzzle has been discontinued, and wait till you get a load of the image. So you have a fish expelling a tiger and another tiger, and there's a rifle, and we have a woman here, and then there's one of his weird elephants, and I have the title of this 1944 Dali work is Dream Caused by the Flight of a Bee Around a Pomegranate a Second Before Awakening. So that's a hell of a mouthful. I can't even, I'm not saying that again. It's just it's the tigers and the chick. But okay, and just before I get into some things are going to get really racy around here, very, very racy. And before I get into that, I always have to say this: if you dig Salvador Dali, you get your paws on paws. I did it funny. You get your paws on one of his puzzles, and you will do it, and you will feel his energy of his art, and you will understand his palettes and his lines, and it's just, there is nothing like understanding a piece of artwork than when you do it from, I'm talking about puzzles. It's about puzzle, and that's what I can't, you know what, it's been a long week, so I'm going to just keep going. All right, everybody, just hold on to your hats because things are really going to heat up around here. Andy Warhol. Okay, I have a couple of Andy Warhols. I actually have 3. I might be forgetting one up here, but how charming is this? It is a tomato soup can puzzle in a canister that is shaped like a can of soup. My brother and sister-in-law gave this to me as a wedding or as a Christmas gift, and this is a mud puppy puzzle. I have never done it, and because this is having your cake and eating it too. Love this, and since you can't just have one can of tomato soup, you have to have more than that. I also have this one, which is really a beautiful Siaco. It's just a beautiful Siaco. I've never opened it. I don't know if I don't remember where the hell I bought this. I don't know where it came from, and now I want to open it and do it because it's great. It's great. It's great. It's a can of Andy Warhol tomato soup. Okay, now we're gonna get into that was the warm up, and I need a little encouragement before I jump into this next one. The year is 1964. The city is New York. Andy Warhol. It's creating a place called The Factory. And one day he decides to do a film. And the film, I'm just going to show you this, and then I'm going to talk about it a little bit. Okay? Can you read that? Got a little... Okay. This puzzle... you just got to stick with me on this, people. You just got to stick with me on this puzzle. This puzzle features 4 stills from the film entitled blah, 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 jaja. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it because I don't know what happens with the bots. I don't know who the bots are, so I'm not going to say it. But, okay. And let's talk a little bit about this 1964 film by... The film was called... All right. And the film was shot at 24 frames per second. But Warhol mandated that it be shown at 16 frames a second. So it was 1 1/3. The end film was 1 1/3 longer than the actual footage. It ran about 35 minutes, although the Museum of Modern Art in New York says it's 41 minutes. And it features a gentleman who goes by the name of, are you ready for this? Erin Bookwalter. There's Erin here. Here's Erin Bookwalter. There he is. And it's silent. And it features just what you see there, just his head. And he is having an experience. And you are led to believe the experience is fellatio on account of the title. But that's the only indication that that's what's going on. You have no idea. You just see him, and it's slowed down. So there's this long, anguished experience this gentleman has. We don't know who he is with. We don't know the gender of the individual. If he's with somebody, you don't know anything. All you know is you're watching this man have this outrageous experience, and I think that you can go on to YouTube and find it a shot of it, maybe 9 minutes. I think I saw one that was 9 or 10 minutes. And it was 64. Okay, and so it's like a I mean, this film is freaking me out that he did this in 1964. And I say, if anyone's joining me, I'm going to show again. This the puzzle. It features 4 stills from the movie called. All right. Anyhow, so like the Village Voice and all the publications that were wanted to talk about what Warhol was doing, they couldn't say the name of it, and they referred to it as, quote, a title that can't be revealed. So that's how they referred to this 1964 Warhol film. I'm pretty sure you can see it at the Warhol Museum in Pittsburgh, which if you're ever in Pittsburgh, just go there because it is the best. I think the Museum of Modern Art in New York has the film. The film, of course, garners all kinds of attention, and it's controversial. It's totally Warhol. And there was even one gentleman who wrote a book about the movie entitled, I have this, okay, where is it? Mr. Roy Grundman. And the title of his book is, quote, Andy Warhol's, or as was referred to previously, a title that can't be revealed. Okay, so what the hell does this have to do with anything? Does it stop there? Of course it does not stop there. It does not stop there. So before I knew anything about this puzzle, I came across a site called Beautiful Agony, Le Petit Mort, which means in French, the little death, which is the euphemism in French for, I'm just going to say it, it's the euphemism for orgasm. And that site called Beautiful Agony, it's still around. And it's so weird that I found this after that, because what they do on Beautiful Agony is they show somebody from like the neck up, the shoulders up, as they are engaging in a singular practice that, frankly, people have been doing ever since they figured out how, okay? Can you say onanism? Figure it out, okay? And I don't remember how I ever ran into that site, but I remember telling my friend Grant Bailey at the time, I said, Grant, I'm going to write about this site, Beautiful Agony, which is still active out there, and I'm going to place an essay about it in a publication. And indeed, Frank Lewis bought my essay about Beautiful Agony, and somewhere on the interwebs in this comment section or wherever I post stuff, I will post a PDF of the original thing that I wrote about Beautiful Agony, because I think the Beautiful Agony site and what I wrote about it and how that goes with, again, for anybody else, it is this puzzle that I'm talking about, the title that cannot be revealed. Okay. Can I have another sip here? In the opening of that essay, first thing I start talking about just pornography in general, and I reference a great story about the goat. And when I met him all those years ago, he had a subscription to Playboy magazine. I've a kind of a fraught relationship with Playboy magazine. I always loved that it was this culture. It was the intersection of culture and sex and literature and reporting and also fashion at the time. And I always had this deep respect for Hugh Hefner's vision for Playboy magazine, but he was such a son of a bitch. He was a son of a bitch. And he was a Svengali, and he was a lot of things. He also loved parlor, entertainment, board games, card games, and he loved puzzles. And, okay. There was a series of these, and I don't know how many there were. I apologize. I had a hell of a week, and I couldn't do as much research into the Playmate puzzles as I would like to, but he used his publishing company, HMH, Hugh, I can't remember his middle name. HMH was Hugh, middle name, Hefner Publications, which also published the magazine, to produce these puzzles. And there was tons of them, and now they're very, very collectible. And I always wanted to have one in my collection just because it's Americana, it's Hefner, it's weird, and I just always dug it. So I looked and looked and looked, and one day I was in a thrift store called the Red Geranium, which is now defunct. And I saw this puzzle. I think I paid $40 for it. It's complete. It has the poster inside, and so that was great. I'll show you the poster. Why the hell shouldn't I? Why the hell should I'll show you the poster? I got to be careful about this. Okay, let's see. Poster is a pretty generous description. Okay, so this would come inside. And the thing about these puzzles was you didn't know what Playmate you were going to get until you bought it and you opened it and then you saw the guide picture. Okay, my puzzle contains a photograph of Paige Young. Okay. Folks, this is where puzzle talk gets a little rough. Paige Young was the Playmate for November 1968. And you can see how beautiful she was. I think she was born in 44. Yeah, that sounds right. And there's a long and detailed story that this is really the only one, and it's in the Daily Mail. That's an English publication. It's kind of a tabloid. It's not very reliable, but it tells the story of Paige Young. And reportedly, she loved the Playmate life. She loved Hefner. She loved the glitter of the mansion. But after she apparently kind of fell into what we don't like to think about, what went on in the mansion, with women getting passed around and treated, objectified. But apparently she enjoyed that lifestyle. And 6 years after she was a Playmate, she took her own life, and she was 30 years old. And there's all kinds of difficult reports. I don't know if they're true, that she had scrawled very unpleasant things about Mr. Hefner in a note or on her walls. Was there an American flag on the bed? Was there a pentagram? All this kind of talk went on. And this note here is particularly poignant. I shouldn't say poignant, but I guess it resonates with me. If you go online, her obituary pages and other sites say that she died from a drug overdose. But the Daily Mail's article has what looks to me to be a very plausible copy of the police report and the medical examiner's report. And it has the words, death by a gunshot wound, self-inflicted gunshot wound, that she had a revolver next to her body. But I can understand why the family maybe doesn't want to remember it that way. I can understand why they just can't deal with it. And I can understand why they just report it differently. But I also think that if they felt that strongly about it, they probably would have tried to get that document off of the site and were unsuccessful. And I guess after my brother died and we got the death certificate, and I remember my dad, he was sitting at his desk and the death certificate was right directly in front of him. And the cause of death, self-inflicted gunshot wound. Dad had taken a ballpoint pen and he had so feverishly scratched it out that the paper was torn through. So I understand that. And so, it is never just a puzzle. It is never just a puzzle. And so when I have this object, and I constructed it, and all of Paige's, 200 or 300 pieces were there. Here with me. Baby girl, you are here with me. Rest in peace. I'll take care of you. In any event, that is a little bit different puzzle talk today. And That's what it's like. That is exactly what it is like. I want to thank you for joining me for this Puzzle Talk Live After Dark edition. I'm going to be back next Friday, because why the hell shouldn't I? And hopefully I will have something to delight everyone. I will be drinking bad vodka, unless I can get my hands on a Carling Black Label. But everybody out there, stay safe. Thank you for spending time with me, and I love you.